New season, new format, new attitude. The best in Dirt Oval are ready to do battle once again to prove that they can stand at the top of the mountain. Dirt Vision and the iRacing Esports Network welcome you to the virtual Volusia Speedway Park, and welcome to round one of the 2025-2026 season of the World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing. We're happy to see all of you on a beautiful Monday night, wherever you're deciding to join us in the world. We're happy that you're joining us here on the iRacing Esports Network and Dirt Vision. I'm your host, Joshua Lee. Alongside me in the commentary booth for round one is Taylor Burris. And Taylor, we're back. 2025-2026 season of this series, which last season saw a brand new format. This year sees another brand new format, pitting the 410s and late models against each other in two halves of the calendar.
Absolutely. It's going to be an exciting championship season here for these competitors as they do battle in two of the most powerful dirt car racing action that we will see here tonight and throughout the entirety of the 2025-2026 season. And we're starting at the hallowed grounds of Volusia Speedway Park, by far one of my favorite dirt tracks, more formerly a home track of mine before I moved out here to the state of Texas. So looking forward to seeing the season opener here at this track.
It's going to be fast. It's going to be exciting. And every single week here on the iRacing Esports Network, you are going to see a new roster of drivers. Anybody, and I mean anybody, Taylor, with a Class A Dirt Oval license can qualify every single week for our main events. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, you can compete in the Pro Qualifying Series powered by iRacing. The highest 40 qualifying point scores are locked into this Monday night main event every week. So starting tomorrow, the entire slate is wiped clean. Anybody can try and qualify for this series with a Class A Dirt Oval license or above.
This makes it one of the most interesting and most challenging pro series of any of iRacing's pro or world championship series, because it's always revolving, like you said. And as we take a look at the schedule, we will see a revolving group of drivers throughout the entirety of the season. Of course, next week we'll head out to Houston Speedway out in the Midwest, followed by Williams Grove up in Pennsylvania and Lincoln Speedway, before we wrap it up with the sprint cars at Knoxville Raceway. And then we kick it off the new year with some late model action at Oswego Speedway.
We'll be mentioning all of those tournaments coming up later on in this season. But Taylor, we begin at the virtual Volusia Speedway Park, the world fastest half mile. And this track, a little bit oddly shaped. It's got the front straightaway that is straight. That turn four wall just seems to jump out at everybody. But that back straightaway, very quick getting into turn three. Last year, this race, the round number one, started with the late models. It was Logan Rumsey who won that one, then went on to win our championship. Could tonight's winner here at Volusia do the same?
Absolutely. It could be a possibility. We have multiple former winners here racing here tonight and a plethora of former champions in the World of Outlaws Pro Series competing in tonight's action here today. Of course, one thing to keep in mind when it comes to racing at Volusia is the composite of the dirt. It's a mix of not just your normal dirt, but it's a little bit of sugar sand, which makes it very loose, very difficult, unlike what we see in some other tracks that are going to be clay-based dirt like out in the Midwest. It's going to be a lot of cohesion, a lot of issues where the track will have trouble gripping up for these sprint cars because of just how durable and how much horsepower is in these cars.
You can already see it. We're starting to see that track to development come in that we are going to be mentioning all night long. But the field started to take to the grid for heat race number one. Let's take a look at that starting grid. On the pole, it is the Majula C Speed Shop number 06 of Rylan Gray. To the outside, the Tanner Pettit Racing number 21 of Blake Carrick. How about Tanner Pettit there onto the inside of row two and that number 24. Then our previous champion, Logan Rumsey in the Alpha Industries number 41 to the outside of row two. Braden Donaldson for Elite Performance Industries and that number 94 to the inside of row three. Bryce Lucius for Raise the Bar and the number 32 will be to the outside of row three. And it's a very small field, just 8 cars here for heat race number one. Gunnar Harris in the number 54 to the inside with Jesse Enerkin to the outside in the number 25. A lot of familiar faces here in heat race number one. I think we're going to see a lot of that as the night develops. But I talk about that night developing 8 laps of heat race number 1 here. The top 3 are going to advance their way into tonight's feature race. Both of our LCSs, the traditional 12 laps, and then winners advancing into our feature race, which will be 35 green flag laps to end the night. And I should also mention, Taylor, the top 8 from qualifying have auto-advanced their way into the feature race tonight. And I'd be remiss if we didn't mention Alex Bergeron, who's back, who qualified within that top 8. Sean English, Tyler Schell, Aiden Price, among others. Kenny Hoffman was able to get the fastest time at a 12.901.
Absolutely a blistering lap time here around with these 410 sprint cars. But this heat race 1 that we're seeing already getting set to go racing, a very stacked heat race. I mean, Rylan Gray, we're talking about a chillable competitor, as well as also a former winner at Kokomo Speedway, as well as we take a look at our Black Friday sale that's happening on now through December 2nd.
It's the best time to get into the iRacing service. It is now through December 2nd in the Black Friday sale. 50% off all new memberships, 25% off early renewals and reactivations. This is my yearly reminder to renew my iRacing subscription, because every year I get that 25% off. I do a year and I don't have to worry about it until the next time the Black Friday sale rolls around. Then I get 25% off my subscription again. So no better time to get on the iRacing service and to try out these 410 sprint cars. If you have a Class A license, get into our qualifying series every single week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we reset the field, and we're going to have a brand new roster beginning every single Monday night. But the field behind the iRacing pace truck, it is going to pull off into the pit lane. And about a year in waiting, when we left all of you in January, we had so many high hopes leading in to the 2025-2026 season of the World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing. And guess what? It's time to get the heat started. We are underway in 2025-2026, and it's a big start for Rylan Gray, who gets the early lead. And how about Tanner Pettit getting second place early? Blake Carrick, Braden Donaldson rounding out the transfer spots. It's a big dive to the inside already. They're almost 3 wide off of 4.
Trouble for one car as he hits the outside wall coming off the down front straightaway, as they now go single file for your top 3. Battle for third, that transfer spot between Carrick and Donaldson as they work their way down into turn 1.
Jesse Enerkin going to be all the way at the bottom of the field now after that contact with the wall off of turn number 4. But out in front, Rylan Gray setting the pace well as Tanner Pettit, Blake Carrick rounding out the 3 transfer spots that we're going to have. Braden Donaldson in the 33 outside looking into those transfer spots. But here comes the battle for the lead. Pettit all over the back bumper of Rylan Gray.
Here we see Braden Donaldson, who is a micro and outlaw kart driver as well, who knows a thing or two about driving with the wings here around the circuit as he works his way up into 4th, but he's got not enough time left to try to catch up to Tanner Pettit, who is a former winner here in the World of Outlaws Pro Series. He is trying everything he can to chase down Rylan Gray with 2 laps to go.
We saw Tanner Pettit up front all season long last year. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing that again. Blake Carrick still in tow, still in that transfer spot. The battle for the lead fizzling out a little bit. Gray and Pettit knowing that they are well within the transfer spots right now by about 7/10. Don't need any heroics here as they take the white flag, but Pettit's going to make contact to the left rear of Rylan Gray. Pettit wants this heat win, but on the outside line, Gray gets a big run, goes defensive into 3, and it's not going to be enough for Pettit. Rylan Gray wins heat race number 1. It is Pettit and Carrick back from there that are going to be rounding out your transfer positions off of heat race number 1. And that begins an energetic night I think we're going to see, Taylor, as heat race number 1 concludes with Rylan Gray, Tanner Pettit, Blake Carrick moving on.
Absolutely, an incredible drive by all 3 of them. But for Braden Donaldson on back, they're going to have to head on to Last Chance Showdown to see if they have what it takes to be one of those 2 drivers that will transfer to the feature event here tonight.
Moving on with the evening's proceedings into heat race number 2. Taylor, here's how they're lining up.
Absolutely. On the pole position from Black Diamond Motorsports, it's Mason Hannigan. Alongside him is going to be Steve Gaines from Nick Lionheart Racing Association. John Helms in Helms Racing Incorporated will be in row 2, alongside the Evolution 9 driver of Noah Carpenter. Chase Stewart in Raise the Bar, and Shane Yost will be in row number 3, followed by Timothy Smith from Evolution 9, and TJM Racing's Ty Schullebeck will be in 8th position.
Another 8 cars ready to go here in heat race number 2. I mentioned the word energetic, Taylor, and I think that's what we're going to see not just tonight with these 410 sprint cars at Volusia, but all through the first half of this calendar leading up to our first tournament with these 410 sprint cars. These things are fast. They have power to weight ratio that I don't think any vehicle really should have, but these things do, and they go quick and fast around any track you put them on, especially Volusia, touted as the world's fastest half mile.
Absolutely. I mean, you're talking about lapse times around here that are just around the 12-second, a high 11-second mark if you get the right conditions and build the right setup around this track. And it's going to be even a little more interesting. We're not racing in the nighttime. We're racing during the day, early morning to about mid-afternoon right now. So it's going to be a little bit different. That track is going to be a lot more slicker, a lot more dustier out there, especially with that sugar sand and just all that debris that's going to be happening as we progress. We'll start to see a little bit of a rubber groove being built around this track during these heat races.
You're going to keep seeing this track develop if you're watching at home, and you're going to see all of the rubber getting laid into this racetrack. It is going to change how these drivers race, and we are going to see how much that track really develops and what lanes end up developing off of that track evolution. But ready to race here in heat race number 2, waiting on our final driver to get to the starting grid, and there they are, and we are now ready to roll off behind the official iRacing pace truck to get things going here for heat number 2. Another 8-car heat. Top 3 are going to advance their way into the feature race to join the other 11 now that we've got. 8 out of qualifying, 3 out of that last heat. We'll take another 3 here, 3 in heat 3, 3 in heat 4, and then our 2 LCS winners will build our 22-car field for the feature race, which is going to be the crescendo of the evening, Taylor. 22 of these 410 sprint cars. It's going to be a lot different than 8 of them going racing, and for 8 laps here in the heats, 12 in the LCS, we over double that to 35 for our main.
Absolutely. So it's going to be a very big stacked field when we get here for the feature event. A lot more beating and banging, a little bit more chaos, especially in that mid to back of the pack as drivers try to fight their way and do battle up towards the front of the field to get as many points as possible in the feature race here tonight. So, but first, for these drivers here, they have to make sure they're part of that lucky group of 3 that will advance to the feature.
And we should mention points here as they start to roll off here for heat race number 2. Points are on the line here for these heat races. They were on the line for qualifying. Our pole sitter, 25 points to them. It increments down to our top 8, 17 points for 8th place in qualifying. They all auto advance to the feature. Everybody racing in these heats also eligible for points. 15 points to our heat race winner, and everybody in this heat will earn points. And then for the feature, 100 points to the winner, going all the way down to 36 for our 22nd place finisher. And all of these points rack up throughout our 410 calendar and throughout our super late model calendar to build our 60-car field for our tournaments at the end of the sprint car ladder and at the end of the late model ladder in the 2 halves of this World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing schedule. We will mention more about those tournaments as we get a little bit closer, but we're still getting the beats going, getting the rust off as we go green flag racing for heat race number 2, and already to the inside, John Helms, 1 second place. Give it to him as he gets by Stephen Gaines.
How about this 2 by 2 by 2 as they work their way now 3 wide as they come off a turn number 4 down on the bottom of the racetrack. Drivers trying to jockey for position as up towards the top of the tide is the 42 of Noah Carpenter, who gets that outside lane going in his favor as he will battle with the 57 machine of John Helm as a big slide contact. Both of them go up and over as they will lose their chances of advancing.
John Helms came up into that top lane off of the exit of turn 4. That led to contact between Carpenter and Gaines, who now are 7th and 8th and out of the running for a transfer spot in these heats. Chase Stewart now sits in P3. John Helms in 2nd place, and nobody even mentioning Mason Hannigan right now, who is up front in the pole position, 8/10 in front of 2nd place.
That's where he wants to be right now. Comfortable advantage for him as Helms and Stewart if I was these two right here we see on screen, I would just be focusing on pulling away from Smith as we watch Chase Stewart, who is a local out of Foreman Beach, Florida. So this is a hop, skip, and a jump for him as he will make his way out here on any Saturday night racing action. But these drivers here in the second and third, just focus on pulling away from Smith. Don't put any pressure on each other. Just make it to the end and you advance. That is always probably my biggest pet peeve with these heat races. Drivers fight to gain extra position and then losing spots.
At the very least, points are up for grabs in these heat races. Shane Yost is not going to get much. He ends up having to tow it back to the pit lane. But just like that, heat race number 2 is on the final lap. Mason Hannigan, a dominating performance from that number 8 machine, number 22 on the car, and he is number 1 in heat race number 2. John Helms, Chase Stewart round out the top 3 that will advance their way into the feature race. Timothy Smith, Ty Showblock, Noah Carpenter, Stephen Gaines, and Shane Yost back from there. The bottom 4, 5, 6, and 7 are going to end up going into our LCSs. Hannigan, Helms, and Stewart, 1, 2, and 3 advance into the feature race. And Taylor, we see Hannigan to win heat race number 2. We've got him dialed up. Why don't you talk to our heat race number 2 winner, Mason Hannigan?
Absolutely. Mason, I got to say, an incredible drive there on that heat race for you. I mean, what do you got going on for that Sport 10 sprint car that makes here racing at Volusia so unique?
Yeah, I don't know. I was pretty worried all week. I didn't really know where we stacked up. It's been a while since I've been in this deal, and you know, we all know how competitive it is when it goes to qualifying. So I wasn't really sure how good we were going to be in qualifying, and sure enough, we were only 5 1,000ths off the top 8. So yeah, we were pretty good there. Put together 8 solid laps. So we're gonna get her dialed in for the A, and I think when it blows off here and it gets slick, we should be all right.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Congratulations on your heat win. We'll see you in the feature event here momentarily.
Thank you.
Good to hear from Mason Hannigan, who will now go into our feature race off of that heat race number 2 victory. Ready to go now for heat race number 3, and take a look at your front row. The Majulis C Speed Shop number 127, Blake Majulis, is back in the Pro Series. He starts on the pole for heat race number 3. Landon Cardoza, another very familiar name for the BBS Esports, number 21, to the outside of row 1. Joey Lindgren, Majulis C Speed Shop number 1, to the inside of the Raise the Bar number 13, another very familiar face. It's Aiden Beerline. Ethan Johnson for Tanner Pettit Racing in the number 11, to the inside of row 3. The Privateer number 22, Wyatt Schuhart, going to be to the outside of row 3. And your final row of the starting grid for heat race number 3, Bradley Cox in the Speed Factory number 45, and the Elite Performance Industries number 17S, that's Spencer Putney to the outside of row 4. Another 8 cars stacked up, ready to go for heat race number 3, and we continue down this road leading into the feature race tonight. Taylor, more and more very familiar names starting to show themselves in these starting grids, and we are starting to really see the parity start off of the season. This is round number 1, only up from here for a lot of these drivers, and as we work our way through heat race number 3, we're only going to keep seeing these kind of stars of the World of Outlaws Pro Series start to show themselves.
Absolutely. I mean, in this top 8 alone, we have former winners, a former champion who is looking to try and take the fight to reclaim championship glory as well. And then, of course, a couple of new faces, familiar drivers, and even some real-world experience in here. I mean, Joey Lindgren, we see him racing in the Dwarf Car Racing Series in his location, so he is definitely going to be one to watch. And, of course, Dwarf Car's not really similar to a sprint car, but still, just a little extra real-world experience could help them in certain aspects racing in the virtual world.
That's the great thing about iRacing. You can race the cars that you can't in the real world, and for many that includes these 410 sprint cars, and we've been mentioning it all night. If you have a Class A dirt oval license, get into these qualifying series races. Try your shot at running on a Monday night with us in the World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing. The Pro Qualifying Series back up and running tomorrow night. You're not going to see Alex Bergeron. You're not going to see Rylan Gray. You're not going to see Mason Anakin, Blake Majulis, Aiden Forster, all these drivers work their way automatically into the next round. They're going to have to re-qualify as well, Taylor. We started this last year. It's one of my favorite things we get to do every week in the World of Outlaws Pro Series. It's find out who really made the roster that week.
And also, if you think about it, it also allows drivers who are maybe specialists at certain selected tracks that we have on the schedule, or who are more of a specialist to a particular car. Right now, for these next 5 weeks, it is going to be the best of the best in the 410s. But later on, starting in 2026, it's going to be the best of the best in the dirt late models that will do battle. So you never know who you'll see come out here and race each and every week that we have this Pro Series going on for the 2025-2026 campaign.
I know we're going to see Evan C. start to work his way into these rosters when we get into the late model portion of our calendar, but that's got to wait for 2026. We are back racing with the 410 sprint cars here for heat race number 3. Another 8 laps on deck. Let's go green. And out in front, Blake Majulis with the early jump. Surprise, surprise. But here comes Lindgren to the inside with a big run on the outside. Landon Cardoza, he shuts the door. 3 wide back from there and contact in 3.
How about 4 wide action here? You wanted the best. You got them 4 abreast here as they work their way into turn 2. A little bit of a bobble right there by the 13 of Aiden Breoline, who's now having to recover, drops it back a little bit into the 4th spot as Joey Lindgren holds on to that coveted 3rd position.
The anxiety starting to build. Aiden Breoline is outside of the transfer positions right now. Joey Lindgren has that transfer spot, P3. It's Ethan Johnson, Bradley Cox, Wyatt Schuhart, Spencer Putney, the rest of the field as they start to single file themselves out. Notice that number 13 back to the inside, trying something different is Aiden Breoline. He's got a mirror full of Ethan Johnson and a front windshield full of Joey Lindgren in that transfer spot. Contact in 3 and 4.
Slide job happening right now as there goes Aiden Breoline right across the nose of Ethan Johnson to get the 4th spot away. Johnson is going to respond as he goes to the inside out of turn number 4, side by side, back to single file as Lindgren just watches on, hoping he can maintain that 3rd position.
3 laps to go in heat 3, starting to become very real that Aiden Breoline might have to race out of a last chance showdown. He's still running P4. Now the move for 2nd place is being made. Lindgren with a big slider gets up in front of Landon Cardoza. Cardoza slides himself back to the inside, and the hand for California native is going to take that 2nd spot back. Now that invites Aiden Breoline into the party. Here we go for the white flag to the inside. Joey Lindgren takes 2nd again. Cardoza slide back to the inside. Can Breoline do anything in 3 and 4? He's on the inside, trying to get the transfer, can't do it. Contact for 2nd place sends Lindgren around, but they were across the start-finish line for Majulis, Cardoza, and Lindgren to be your top 3 and to qualify for the feature race. Breoline is going to be running out of the last chance showdown, and that is one of the biggest names, Taylor, that is going to have to race out of an LCS tonight that we have seen so far.
Absolutely, and that was a big surprise. Breoline has a lot of work to do. The good news is he might have one of the better starting positions in the last chance showdown, but still, he has to hold off and win it to move on to the feature race tonight.
That is the 8 drivers that competed in Heat Race 3. We are not yet done. Heat Race number 4 about to be on deck, but it looks like we're going to be able to grab your Heat Race number 3 winner. Taylor, Blake Majulis is joining you trackside.
Well, Blake, I have to say, a great way to kick off a return for you to make a charge in for a championship. How does that sprint car feel for you tonight?
Yeah, I feel really good. I put a lot of work in this week with all my guys, so I'm looking forward to this feature. Hopefully just stay out of trouble.
What preparations are you going to be making to this car? Because we know the track is going to change a little bit for that feature race.
Oh, yeah, we'll take a look and see what the track does and make a decision from there, just depending on what the track officials do, and we'll go from there with it.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Blake Majulis, your Heat Race number 3 winner.
Another season of the World of Outlaws Pro Series, and it's another good performance from Blake Majulis. I think we're going to be seeing that a lot this year. Taylor, we are getting to the grid now for Heat Race number 4 that we've got on deck, and this is going to be our final Heat Race of the evening.
It really is, and it is a packed lineup, starting with Aiden Forrester from Tanner Pettit Racing on the pole, with Braden Ellier from Elbows Up Simsport. Michael Schuring will be for the Lewis Knight Racing Group in row 2, followed by Sean Smith and the Mid-South Mafia. Aiden Stool from Elite Performance Industry, and former winner J.D. Brown from Alpha Industries in 6th position. Rounding out the rest of your field in row 4 is Bowen Smith from TJM Racing, and Caden Berry Motorsports will have Nick Larry in 8th position.
That is your starting grid for our final heat race of the night. It is heat race number 4. Another 8 laps on deck, ready to go, with another 8 cars and another 3 that are going to advance their way into our feature race. Taylor, what have you been noticing out there on the track? Because it's been a lot of slide jobs. We're kind of starting to see that outside line start to develop, and that seems like where drivers want to be, but that inside line is still dominant. We were seeing a lot of moves be made down there, and a lot of sliders through turn 1, the crossover trying to be made down the back straightaway, and not a lot of answering they could do by the time they got to turn 3. It's exactly what we saw in that second place battle last heat.
Well, that what makes Volusia so unique compared to other dirt tracks that we'll go to is because of how that cushion is forming up there on the outside, which is going to allow a difference of multi-groove racing. You're going to see drivers run right up against, as you see on the screen, just where those tire tracks are, just a little tick below it, where it starts to get a little lighter right there. You'll see them run there to kind of grip it, but also you'll see the little bit of a cushion right there on the bottom where it starts to get darker on the bottom, as you see on the screen, where you can hug that white wall, and it is so much grip down there as well. It will continue to change. That bottom is a lot more smoother, but can be slicker around that bottom. Meanwhile, the top side is a mix of high risk and high reward. If you can carry enough momentum, make sure you don't lose it off corner exit.
These 410 sprint cars, I think everybody watching at home, they look like they're going kind of normal race car speed, I like to call it, when you're watching from the outside looking in. But trust me, Taylor, these drivers inside of these cars are fighting. It's like they're trying to swat away bees for 8 laps in these heats, and they're going to do it for 35 later tonight in the feature race. These things are tough to drive. Do not let some of our World of Outlaws Pro Series greats make this look easy.
Absolutely. That is why these are the best of the best for this track as well as for this season. We'll see a lot of them racing, but it's going to be a matter of who can survive the alphabet soup and the heat races here tonight as we get set to go racing for our final heat race of the night before our last chance showdowns.
One more heat, one more 8-lap race here. We go up to 12 for the last chance showdown, and like I mentioned, 35 for our feature race later tonight. But Aiden Forster, your 2023-2024 champion of the sprint cars, is off and away for heat race number 4, and he's going to lead him into turn number 1. Brandon Eiler almost made contact in that second spot, but it's Michael Schuring away from P3, trying to hold off Aiden Stoll, Sean Smith, and Bowen Smith back from there as they complete lap 1.
So far, so good. The calm before the storm as we have a little bit of battling for the 5th position, but so far Schuring holding everyone back to keep him. He is the gatekeeper of that 3rd position, but he wants more as he tries to get to the inside of Braden Eiler. Slide job action here. He will put the bumper right there and park it, but here comes Eiler to cross over down on the bottom.
To lap 3, about to be on lap 4 here in heat race number 4, and it's Eiler to 2nd place. Michael Schuring still in 3rd. There's a slider again, trying to get to the inside line. He does not get the run I think he was looking for. Eiler's back upstairs, Schuring back to the bottom. Schuring gonna complete that slider in 4. The crossover move from Eiler's gonna bring him back to the inside.
How about that move right there by Eiler as he tries to hold on there. The Franklin, Pennsylvania driver trying to hold on, but here comes Schuring with another slide job across the top. He's going to hold it, but here comes Eiler back to charge. This is bringing Aiden Stool into the fight.
This is the racing we expect from these 410 sprint cars, and right now Aiden Stoll is watching and waiting. Sean Smith is behind him as well, still in this fray, but to the transfer, it's still Schuring, who hits the wall on the inside. He makes contact with Braden Eiler, and that is 2nd and 3rd gone. Sean Smith, Aiden Stoll to 2nd and 3rd, and into the transfer.
And that will bring in J.D. Brown as they get the white flag. And that actually moves J.D. Brown up to the 4th position. He's going to be able to hold on to spot for the time being as they head out of turn number 4. Across the line, Aiden Forster, your winner in heat race number 4, followed by Aiden Stoll and Sean Smith by the looks of it. Nope, J.D. Brown, as timing and scoring adjust, will be your top 3 to advance.
What a heat race number 4 to end off on with these heat races. The 2023-2024 champ grabs heat race number 4 victory on the evening. Sean Smith, JD Brown going to be second and third at the end of the night for heat race number 4. They all advance their way into tonight's feature race. And Larry, Stull, Eiler, Schuring, and Smith gonna have to work their way out of one of our 2 last chance showdowns, which are coming up in just a few moments. But we split now the field of everybody that is not qualified for a feature yet. They will both go racing in one of our last chance showdowns. And Taylor, the former champ, back on top again in a heat. He's getting set up for the feature. You're standing by with Aiden Forster.
Aiden Forster, I gotta say, an incredible drive to hold off some hard chargers for you tonight. I mean, what is your mentality knowing that you have to go in there and try to reclaim World of Outlaw glory with retaining that championship once again?
Yeah, we have a really good car right now. Tanner Pettit put in a lot of hours, and we have a really good car. So hopefully we can go forward in the feature. Kind of goofed up in qualifying there and set us out. We were hoping to get in the top 8, but we have a really good car right now, and I'm confident in our ability to drive forward, and hopefully we can get up there.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Good luck in the feature event.
Thank you.
Great to hear from Aiden Forster once again, who has been just so quick. Every time we see him in the 410 sprint cars and the late models, he's up front, he's dominant, a former champion of the sprint car series, and looking for another championship this season. But we mentioned earlier, Taylor, the top 8 advancing from qualifying. I do want to retouch on that real quick with Kenny Hoffman, Alex Bergeron, Ross Kaiser, Aiden Price, Sean English, Tyler Schell, Jesse Newsom, and Dylan Yeager. We have not seen them because they auto-advanced into our feature race tonight, so we'll see them in 2 races' time. But happening right now, through December 2nd. Time starting to run out on that iRacing Black Friday sale. It's 50% off new memberships, 25% off early renewals and reactivations. Head to iRacing.com/Black Friday to take advantage of that now. And no better time to get on the sim, Taylor. I saw the blog post last week of the brand new content we're going to get for season 1 of 2026. I'm excited for the FIA cross car that we are going to get, some more dirt road options with Wheatland, the off-road track at Lucas Oil Speedway as well, and still more being added for dirt oval, for the asphalt oval, and for the asphalt roadside as well.
Absolutely. A lot of great content coming into 2026. We always keep saying every year that comes is always the best year of content that's released, and it's just going to keep getting better and better. And I know for certain that we're going to see some more great content in the dirt racing world as we progress into 2026.
Any content on dirt or having to deal with dirt racing is always a win in my book for any iRacing update. So I'm excited to get racing with the FIA cross car, get racing at Wheatland, and get racing back in the dirt calendar for dirt road and dirt oval. And remember, brand new iRacing Arcade is on the horizon as well, December 2nd on Steam, coming to consoles in early 2026. If you want one of the most unique racing experiences that you can have, get iRacing Arcade. I've been trying out that free demo now since it came out, and it is one of the most fun games that I have right now on my computer just to take some laps. It's only 1 track available, but I see myself just trying to get a faster lap time, trying to run a better race, and I am just addicted, honestly, to iRacing Arcade and excited for it to come out in just a couple weeks' time.
It really is a phenomenal game, and I gotta say, it's really going to be one of those games that I think a lot of maybe those who are new to the racing world or who maybe want to get into it, this is a great stepping stone to maybe if you want to have your chance, then of course, when next year rolls around, have your chance to go and buy yourself a new membership with iRacing and then have it and take it up with here, coming out and racing with the big boys in the world of iRacing, as especially here with the drivers of the World of Outlaw Pro Series.
Remember, you can wishlist iRacing Arcade today as well to get it on December 2nd on Steam. And I mentioned those consoles in early 2026. You can try out that free demo still going on Steam and learn more at iRacingArcade.com. Ready to go for LCS number 1. And how about this powerhouse of a front row? Braden Donaldson for Elite Performance Industries in the number 94 to the inside of row 1 on the pole. Aiden Beerline for Raise the Bar in the number 13 to the outside. He is going to be remiss if he does not make this feature. Bryce Lucius for Raise the Bar in the number 32 to the inside of row 2 is the Tanner Pettit Racing number 11. Ethan Johnson to the outside in P4. Former champion, reigning champion for Alpha Industries, the number 41, Logan Rumsey has to qualify for the feature race out of LCS 1 as well. Bradley Cox in the number 45 for Speed Factory to the outside of row 3. Gunnar Harris, Wyatt Schuhart in the 4th row, and we up the field from 8 to 10 with Jesse Enerkin for Jesse Enerkin Racing in the number 25, and the Elite Performance Industries number 17 S of Spencer Putney to the outside of row 5 in P10. 2 powerhouse drivers in Aiden Forster and Logan Rumsey Taylor competing for 1 spot. We have 1 spot from this LCS to advance into the feature. Only 1 can get it out of LCS number 1, and we have the reigning champion and one of the fastest drivers that I have ever seen in a 410 having to try and qualify out of an LCS.
It's really going to be a titan battle between those 2 drivers, but also don't forget they still have a couple of other drivers to go head-to-head with, and you know, anything is possible that could happen. We could even see a driver outside of that top 5 that could possibly sneak his way through and be the winner of the Last Chance Showdown race number 1.
Any driver that qualifies into the World of Outlaws Pro Series main event on a Monday night has an opportunity to make their way into the feature race. The rest of the drivers are definitely no slouches, but there is going to be a big storyline no matter what happens at the end of LCS number 1. You're along for the ride with us at home as the iRacing Pace Truck pulls down. This is going to be an intense and exciting 12 laps. The first Last Chance Showdown is underway. It's a big start for Braden Donaldson, who gets away with the lead. Beerline going to be on the outside. Lucius chooses the inside. He's got Rumsey in tow, trying to make things happen as they enter turn 3.
4 wide almost as they come out of turn number 4 and now work their way across the line. Put 1 lap on the board as now big slide right there by Bryce Lucius and company. Logan Rumsey now trying to lead the charge as they nearly make contact out of 4.
Where did the 41 come from? It was an insane run off of turn 2, and to the lead goes your reigning champion. How about the slider inside of 4 wide for the 13 of Beerline, now trying to make anything happen that he can. The top lane was dominating the heats. We entered the LCS, Taylor. Now the inside line looks like the preferred lane as Lucius sends a slider in on Johnson.
Lucius trying everything. The last time he was in a Last Chance Showdown was actually in the World of Outlaws race here at Volusia back in February and March. He finished 7th. He's wanting to try and redeem himself here in the virtual world as they battle it out across from 2nd. Cox takes it away, but here comes that 45 machine as he tries everything he can. You're on board with Aiden Beerline, who is working his way through, and Bryce Lucius, who's trying to hunt down your race leaders.
You can see just how much he is fighting that wheel and fighting this 410 sprint car. The move still being made further back in the pack, but we reach halfway done with this Last Chance Showdown, and Logan Rumsey has a commanding lead. Bradley Cox is in tow. He gets a big run off of turn 2 to the inside of the champion. Goes Bradley Cox for the race lead of the LCS. He gets it for the moment, but Rumsey right back to the inside. Beautiful crossover move. I don't think Cox has done those side by side. Down the back straightaway into 3.
Cox sends it in deep and holds on. He makes it stick. He's got about a car length advantage over Logan Rumsey, who challenges him back on the bottom. Slide job city here as he crosses over now. Cox back to the bottom of the racetrack. Drag race as they come through 3.
Back to the inside goes Bradley Cox, and back to the race lead. Rumsey has 3 laps to try and get by him and stay there. Another move to the inside. He gets it. Bradley Cox right back to the inside like they're doing the tango here at Volusia. Back to the lead goes the 34. Back to the lead goes the 41. Do they trade again this time? No. 2 to go. Rumsey with a big gap. Sends another slider in, looking for the spot. He gets it, but Cox right back to the inside once again. Down into turn number 3. It'll be a white flag this time by for last chance showdown number 1. Does the former champion, the reigning champion, not make it into the feature? He sends one in. The 34 back to the inside. Bradley Cox with the spot goes defensive. Logan Rumsey on the inside cannot get there in time. He hits the wall trying to get there. Bradley Cox to the feature. Rumsey and Beerline, 2 huge storylines exiting LCS number 1. They have to go home with limited points on the night. No feature race points for either of them.
Talk about an upset here tonight. You see it in all forms of motorsports. You saw it again here tonight. Congratulations to Bradley Cox right there to take home the checkered flag and win, and moving on to the big show later on here in just, a little under 12 laps time.
The reigning champion of the World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing does not make the feature race in our first race of the season. Talk about stories and talk about what you can expect if you join us every week on the World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing. Ready to go for the grid for LCS number 2. We will take the winner of this one as well, and it's Evolution 9's Timothy Smith in the number 86 to the inside of row 1. Nick Larry for Cadenberry Motorsports in the number 43 to the outside. Ty Showblock for TJM Racing in the number 17 to the inside of row 2. Aiden Stoll, Elite Performance Industries number 72 to the outside in P4. It's Evolution 9's number 42 of Noah Carpenter to the inside of the elbows up Simsport number 5. Braden Eiler to the outside P6. Stephen Gaines for Nick Leinart Racing Association in the number 07 to the inside of row 4. Lewis Knight Racing number 07 of Michael Shoering to the outside. Shane Yost, the privateer, in the number 99 to the inside of our final row. Bowen Smith for TJM Racing in the number 12 to the outside in P10. 10 drivers back again for another LCS, and Taylor to start the sprint car campaign. Points are going to be leading up to our final tournament in the sprint cars, and yes, points go all the way through. We will have a top 3 in total points across the entire schedule at the end of the season that'll walk away with some prize money. But Logan Rumsey and Aiden Beerline failed to qualify for the feature race. It is insane when you really think about it, just how fast those 2 drivers are. We're not going to see them for 35 laps tonight, and they're going to get very, very limited points here in round 1.
It just shows you how much a year can be, and some of those drivers who took that time and worked on their cars, worked on their racecraft to find their way and find the openings to get this chance to move on into that top level. So it just shows you how close the competition is here in tonight's racing action, and what we can expect to see all throughout the 2025-2026 season of the World of Outlaws Pro Series in both categories throughout this championship. That is what's going to make this series so unique than any other series that we have done. It's why you should go out there, if you have an A license in the dirt oval world, and try your hand at seeing if you have what it takes to be an outlaw here tonight.
Thinking back to last year, the reason Logan Rumsey won that championship was his consistency. I don't believe he missed a feature race once in the 2024-2025 season. He starts 2025-2026 with missing the feature race. It's not going to be all over, and I think that's more of a reason for everybody at home to join us every Monday night for the World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing, whether you're watching on the iRacing Esports Network, on iRacing social media pages, or on Dirt Vision. You're going to want to join us every Monday night. See if Logan Rumsey can climb his way back up the points ladder and be a reigning champion again. But LCS2 ready to go green. It's front row looking at the iRacing pace truck, and the green flag will fly for one final time. It's last chance showdown at number 2 to turn number 1. Timothy Smith with the lead. Ty Schobalak gets through to second place. Noah Carpenter on the inside. Do they make it 3 wide by the time they reach turn 3? The 72 trying to chop the 43 to the inside. Back again through turn 1, Timothy Smith to the race lead. We will only take your top driver from LCS number 2. And right now, that is Timothy Smith with Noah Carpenter trying to send some haymakers in. He goes back to the inside line. Remember, that's treacherous down there. We already saw a driver hit the wall. You don't want to make that mistake now, especially with a feature race spot on the line and only one to give.
He's getting a good run on corner entry right now. That's Noah Carpenter, but the problem is he gets a little bogged down off corner exit to where he's not able to clear him, and as he does so, he sends it in deep. You see that right front tire, or that left front tire tugging that cushion on the bottom, and it's helping that turn of the car significantly and gets a little bit of run. But I'm curious, hopefully it doesn't bog him down too much as he now takes over the race lead and here as they approach halfway.
There's a lot of drivers right now looking for moisture in this track. They're looking for grip. Down to the inside because the 72 is stalled. Almost hits that inside wall. Doesn't quite yet. Schobalak in third is now into this battle with Timothy Smith and Noah Carpenter. This battle just changed hands about 2 laps ago to put Noah Carpenter to the front. But now riding that outside cushion literally is Ty Schobalak trying to get up to that second place position of Timothy Smith. Doesn't get there, and now is starting to have a mirror full of Aiden Stoll in P4.
Look at the gap right now. This is a little bit more interesting than we saw in Last Chance Showdown number 1. Carpenter is starting to pull away little bit by little bit as they battle for that second spot, throwing haymakers left, right, and center as Ayler tries to work his way through. Big slide job for him as he comes across the nose of the 72 machine of Stoll.
And Schobalak right back to the inside to pass both of them in one move going into turn 3. That is beautiful from the Ohio native. Schobalak has been seen in these rosters before. He's no stranger to the World of Outlaws Pro Series, trying to make another feature race. But back to the inside goes Braden Ayler to try and take that spot away. And it's all null and void back from the transfer line because Noah Carpenter has checked out. 6/10 up to the 42, and Noah Carpenter with 2 to go in the LCS.
And Carpenter's doing exactly what he needs to do here, and he's got to be careful as he rides that cushion. Trouble, though, 2 cars end over end, and that is going to end the night for Bowen Smith. Timothy Smith, I believe also Shane Yost involved in that incident. No, Stoll is out.
That's everybody down at the tail end of the field, but out in front, Noah Carpenter in the number 42 qualifies for the feature race. Schobalak, Ayler, Larry, and more close, but not nearly enough to qualify for our 22-car feature race. We've built the grid now off of LCS number 2. We got our final driver in. That was the 42 of Noah Carpenter, who wins LCS number 2 on the evening. And we have now set the grid for our feature. There's the 10 drivers that just took part in LCS number 2. Like I mentioned, only one. It's Noah Carpenter is going to qualify for tonight's feature race. 22 drivers are ready to go. We hope that all of you are ready to go watching along of the World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing. This is just the start of the calendar. It is round number 1. The first feature race of the season is on deck. Stay with us. Right after the break, we get going. It's feature time in Volusia right after this. Welcome back to the World of Outlaws Pro Series, powered by iRacing, live on the iRacing Esports Network and Dirt Vision. We're glad all of you are joining us for round number 1 of this campaign that is going to see 10 races and 2 tournaments across 2 cars. Joshua Lee, Taylor Burris, back with you as we get ready for tonight's feature race. But Taylor, we've mentioned it before tonight. We're going to mention it again. The roster will reset after tonight's race, and anybody with a Class A license in Dirt Oval can try and qualify for the Monday main events tomorrow, Wednesday night, and Thursday night in the World of Outlaws Pro qualifying series.
Absolutely, and it's going to be an exciting event here. So if you have that A license and you have the next track that we're heading off to, which is Houston Speedway, a very different set of tracks and combinations that we'll be seeing for next week's event, it's your chance to go out there and put it out to showcase you have what it takes to be one of the top 40 drivers in points to move on to next week's big event in the Pro Series. So it's going to take a lot of work. Make sure you work yourself way through and finish strong for your chance to see you next Monday night.
And remember, the top 40 qualifying point scorers will qualify for the Monday main event each week. But across the first half and the second half of this calendar, we split the cars up. First 5 rounds in these 410 sprint cars, ending with a tournament at Knoxville Raceway. The late models will end with a tournament at the dirt track at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. But these drivers are racing for a good share of prize money going through our tournaments. $6,000 to first place all the way through to 5th, and then 6 down through 10th, 100 iRacing credits per driver. There's a lot to play for in these 60 driver main tournaments. The 2 main tournaments, $12,500 prize pool total per tournament. And then Taylor, that's not it. Overall points will still be calculated throughout the series across both car types, and first place, second place, and third place in that will take home some prizes as well, their share of $3,000.
I mean, you're looking at a pretty big payout if you get the chance to win both tournaments and the overall point standing. So make sure you go out there and get as many points as possible, because you could end up with a big payday over these next 10 weeks.
More reasons to be consistent, more reasons for these drivers to qualify for each week, and also to qualify for every feature race available. If you want to see the standings after tonight, see the rest of the schedule when you want to join us next, or learn how to become a driver in the World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing, all that information is over at iRacing.com/WOO-Pro-Series. That is iRacing.com/WOO-Pro-Series. Head on over there to get all of the information. Take a look at the rules, our standings, our schedule for all of the season here for the World of Outlaws Pro Series, powered by iRacing. Ready now for tonight's feature race. The energy has built all night long. 4 heats, 2 LCSs, all leading up to this moment. And we reintroduced those 8 drivers that qualified in through qualifying. It was Kenny Hoffman that was fastest in qualifying in the Tanner Pettit Racing #1. He starts to the inside of one of the best to ever do it in iRacing Dirt Oval. It's Alex Bergeron to the outside of the opening row. Tanner Pettit Racing #4R of Ross Kaiser to the inside of row 2. It's the privateer #49 of Aiden Price to the outside, with Sean English and another privateer entry to the inside of row 3, with Elbows Up Sim Sports Tyler Shell to the outside in #85. Elite Performance Industries #18, Jesse Newsom to the inside of row 4, and your last driver to qualify in off of qualifying time tonight was the Majula C Speed Shot #48 of Dylan Yeager. Your 4 heat race winners now join the rest of the grid. Rylan Gray, the Majula C Speed Shot #06 to the inside of the Black Diamond Esports #22H of Mason Hannigan, the Majula C Speed Shot #127 of Blake Majulis to the inside of the Tanner Pettit Racing #20 of Aiden Forster. Tanner Pettit for Tanner Pettit Racing, the #24 to the inside of row 7 is John Helms to the outside, and the #57 for Helms Racing Incorporated. BBS Esports #21 of Landon Cardoza to the inside of row 8, with the Mid-South Mafia #45 of Sean Smith to the outside of that row. Rounding out your top 9 rows, Blake Carrick for Tanner Pettit Racing in the #21 to the inside of Raise the Bar #40 of Chase Stewart. Your final 2 drivers on the grid are the 2 drivers that qualified out of the Last Chance Showdown. Joey Lindgren in the Majula C Speed Shop number 1, to the inside of JD Brown in the Alpha Industries number 14. Or I should say, down from there as well, it's Bradley Cox out of the LCS and Noah Carpenter also out of the LCS to build 22 drivers that are ready to go racing here in our feature race. Taylor, this track has shown us a lot of excitement all night long. I think it's going to keep being the same, and most notably, I don't believe we have had a track reset either. So the same track that we have seen throughout the heats, throughout the LCSs that has been developing all night is still here, and that inside line is starting to look a little gray.
I've been watching each of the warm-ups, the practice session that we had before we started racing and the warm-up leading to the feature. Nobody went out onto the track at all until the final 2 minutes, if not even the final minute of practice, to make sure that they try not to change as much as they can of how the track is, because the more driving that you're doing out there, the more rubber buildup that you're putting on the track, which means the more slick it's going to be, which means the less dirt out there for you to find that needed grip. So pretty much the best areas is right there up against the cushion on the top side, and then right there up against that inside wall where that lower cushion is going to be. Those are going to be the 2 main passing areas we will see the action happen. If we see drivers in the middle, they got to make sure they have that set up properly to make sure they can work through the slick snot that's right there as you see these drivers work their way into the corner entry.
And remember, it was 8 cars per heat race, and then it was 10 per Last Chance Showdown. We up to 22 cars here in the feature. We also up to 35 total laps. Remember, cautions will be on. Caution laps will not count here in our first feature race of the season. The entire season begins here. The most points are on the line in the feature race. Pace truck is off, and guess what? It's feature time in Volusia. Let's go! It's a big start already for your pole sitter as they dive into turn number 1, 2 by 2. Dylan Yeager pulls away with an early lead. Tyler Schell, Jesse Newsom back from there. Alex Bergeron trying to fight his way up through the field now as he is stuck in the Hornet's Nest, ending lap number 1.
Yeager does everything as they go 3 wide through 3 rows deep as they come out of turn number 2. Drivers trying to stick their line and hold on for dear life as they work their way through the middle of turn 3 and 4. The 24 machine you see on screen trying to hold on as Yeager starts to pull away from Tyler Schell.
I mentioned upping these cars up to 22. You are seeing just what that does to this field. Back through 3 and 4. Everybody's still clean throughout the entire field. We have not seen a yellow flag fly yet, and it's still Dylan Yeager pulling away with a commanding lead out in front. Schell, Newsom, Price, and now Alex Bergeron making a move for P5. Works his way into the top 5 proceedings. There's another slider sent and contact. That's going to send Newsom up and out of the groove and again into another car.
They are able to hold on there and keep it clean and green for the moment. How about Sean English as we watch Jesse Newsom from Lake Park, Georgia in the API machine trying to hold on. He's trying to work his way through, currently in the 7th position. But right now, we got some side-by-side action as they work their way through the 1 and 2.
Yeager still commanding this lead, and it looks like Aiden Price falling down the order real quick as contact made again through the mid-pack. As we look at Dylan Yeager with the lead, Tyler Schell behind him, and the first yellow flag has flown for an incident on the racetrack. That is a car flipped over on the front stretch. Looks like Ross Kaiser to bring us under the yellow flag for the first time.
Yeah, that was a tough break right there for Ross Kaiser, and another car right there on the outside. That looks like to be possibly JD Brown or Aiden Price. We'll wait we wait for timing and scoring to catch up and loop its way through. But a tough break here on the early run of this 35-lap feature.
Upping the laps as well, and we get those caution flags. Remember I mentioned caution laps do not count, so we will not see any laps tick down. We're going to go back to racing on to lap number 8, but it's Yeager with that lead early on in this race, and there is the flipping Ross Kaiser down the front straightaway and ends up on his lid. Here's where that contact started, top of 3 wide all the way up on the cushion. and it looks like it happened next time by. But running topside like that, Taylor, it runs out of room. You run out of real estate on the exit of especially turn 4 when that wall jumps out at you.
Yeah, right there you see him trying to avoid some drivers, and then off there hits the wall and then gets collected by another driver, which would then send him end over, and a tough break for Russ Kaiser making his run here tonight. Not the point, but he gets a little bit more points than those who were in the last chance showdown and featured in the other heat races. So it's not an end of the world situation, but not where you want to be here at the opening race. Be that first driver out of competition.
Although it is still very early on. If he can qualify for some more feature races, he still does get a considerable amount of points. I mentioned the points payout. It was 100 points for our winner of this feature race. It's 36 for 22nd place. So they're still going to walk away with a decent points value. That qualifying for the feature really does mean something. They can't get enough points through the heats to really sustain themselves leading into our tournament at the end of December. But they're able to get points just for qualifying for the feature race. That is how important making it through the heats, qualifying in the LCS really is. Back to green, single file restart, back to turn number 1. It's Jaeger ahead of Shell, Price, Bergeron, and English, the top 5, as they race their way to the back straightaway. More cars trying to get any spots they can, but Taylor, the grooves are really starting to develop. Take a look at these corners, almost bottom to top. You're really having a fight to find some grip.
You really are, and you see how much these drivers are. You look at the suspension and how much wheel input you're having to work your way through as we ride on board with Sean English from Valrico, Florida. Of course, a multi-time Maxxis dirt champion here in the world of karting, so he knows a thing or two about watching how the dirt continues to change as he tries to work that top side.
Take a look at that inside line. That is Price trying to get by Bergeron and Shell as they go side by side on the inside. You can see that all black number 12 to the inside. That's Alex Bergeron, who has walked away with multiple championships in the World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing. Back when it was just the sprint cars or just the late models for a whole season, he walked away with multiple championships, Taylor, which is still, to this day, rarefied air. It's a very limited number of people who have won multiple championships on iRacing. He is one to do it. We didn't see him a lot last year. We're seeing him again, and we're seeing why he's a multi-time champion racing up front for P2.
Absolutely, and he is trying to work that bottom lane as best that he can. I mean, you are talking about one of the most prolific champions we have on the iRacing service, who has raced in pretty much every form of official championship competitions on the iRacing platform. So he is definitely showcasing his talent here as he finally clears Tyler Shell, sets his sights on Dylan Jaeger.
3 times, by the way, Alex Bergeron won a 410 Sprint Car Championship in a World of Outlaws esports series here on iRacing. He is one of the best to do it, and now he clears for second place, trying to chase down Dylan Jaeger at the front of the field. It's still a little bit of a hornet's nest back from there. Tyler Shell, Kenny Hoffman, who we're on board with right now, the Tanner Pettit Racing number 1, the Allentown, Pennsylvania driver. One driver racing in virtual reality. You're really starting to see what he is seeing in that virtual reality headset. And Taylor, I feel like dirt road, dirt oval, you see a lot more of these virtual reality headsets because they need to have their head on a swivel with just how quick they're going.
Well, if you think about it, when you're in those corners, you're actually pointed at about 45-degree angles, so you're actually having to look below you more often, and as well, checking to the side will be a big help. So those VR headsets are absolutely perfect for this style of racing compared to what we see in asphalt, oval, or road racing.
Dylan Jaeger still pulling away to the tune of about 8/10 now as they work their way with 18, now 17 laps to go. We're watching this third place battle between Shell and Hoffman continue to develop. It's English and Price further back with Sean English and Aiden Price battling for P5. You can see that 960 is Sean English up on the cushion trying to find his way around Kenny Hoffman. He goes back upstairs, but downstairs is Tyler Shell, or downstairs is Kenny Hoffman, I should say. Shell took the middle, now is back to the middle 3 wide as he loses out again to P5.
Oh, good Lord. Contact as they will now collide together. All 3 of them. Can we keep it clean and green? No. 2 cars still finally come together, but Kenny Hoffman, unfortunately, will drop all the way outside the top 15 along with Sean English and Bradley Cox.
Notably, no yellow flag on that as well. We do stay green with 14 laps to go. We've mentioned the real estate running out of turn 4. That's exactly what we just saw again between those two drivers, Kenny Hoffman and Sean English. They continue racing, 15th for the 960. It is currently 17th for the 11 of Kenny Hoffman, but with 13 to go, the lead battle is non-existent right now with Dylan Yeager still commanding the way, Taylor, and everybody else through the mid-pack looking for as many points as they can possibly grab. 3 wide again off turn 4. We've seen how that ended just a lap ago.
If I was any of these drivers inside that 15th to 20th position, I would be trying to take as many positions as I can. Get those points as quickly as possible before the laps continue to wind down to 0 as we watch further back around this top 15 area. And I got to say, that 85 machine trying everything he can of Tyler Schell to work his way, former champion as well, looking to try to get back up into the top 5.
That elbows up Sim Sport, number 85, the Millersburg, Pennsylvania driver, looking to the outside of Lindgren now, and does not do much up there on the cushion. We mentioned, Taylor, they're fighting for grip. Most of these drivers right now are fighting these cars even more than they were when the track was grippy. Lindgren to the inside of Price gets that spot. He works his way into P5 for the moment. Now back to the inside, and contact made off of turn 2.
Big time, but we're going to keep it clean and green. Everyone's now trying to find that middle to top lane. No one really running the bottom except for Alex Bergeron right now, who is hugging that white wall and gets a great run down to the bottom of the racetrack. Him and Yeager crossing left and right, trying to see who will come out on top. Yeager holds on, but Bergeron sends it down, hugging that white wall.
Maybe that inside line, the grip down there was all Alex Bergeron needed. You're on board with Hamilton Township's Dylan Yeager as he is on the outside. Bergeron on the inside line now with 6 laps to go. There's the number 12 to the inside at turn 1. Yeager gonna pull him for a moment, but the stress starting to show through on the number 48. Bergeron back to the inside, can't clear him again. Taylor, I think he wants that wetness, that grip down on the inside line right now to try and make this move work. That's exactly where he goes again. Yeager trying to hug his door with 5 to go.
I haven't seen Bergeron go to the top side one time at all for these last 30 laps, and he is going to try to do everything he can to hold it. He now takes control of the lead and will stick to the bottom with 4 laps to go. Yeager trying everything to work that middle group, but it's just too slick right there. He's got to find something else.
Bergeron still working that inside line. He likes it. That's what he wants, and he pulls away now to about 2/10. Yeager's gonna have to try and find something different. That's what you do in these cars, Taylor. If it's not working, you gotta try something else. But Bergeron is checking out with 2 to go.
Popsicle sticks in the air for your race leader of Alex Bergeron. Lap traffic up ahead. Could that cause a hindrance? So far, that has not been the case for him as they work their way down the back straightaway. 1.5 laps to go.
Yeager commanded this race, but Alex Bergeron so quick through qualifying. He didn't have to race through the heats. He didn't have to race through an LCS. He qualified for the feature off of his lap time in qualifying. And now through 3 and 4, the 3-time 410 champion starts the new season off right. Alex Bergeron is back to victory lane in the World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing. And one of the best is back again.
What a championship run we're about to see here this season with the 410 sprint cars. You are looking at the major front runner, Alex Bergeron, the 3-time champion of the World of Outlaws sprint cars, is going to put on a show for us. But I got to say, watch out for Dylan Yeager. He's going to be one who could possibly challenge him if he could find that right line and hold on for dear life.
I'll be honest, I was missing a bit of the Drummondville, Quebec, Canada native last season in the World of Outlaws Pro Series. It is amazing to see him back at the top step of the podium in the World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing. It's Alex Bergeron who is on top at the virtual Volusia Speedway Park for round number 1 of the 2025-2026 season. Dylan Yeager and Landon Cardozo rounding out your top 3. We'll hear from most of them in just a moment in the post-race show. Tanner Pettit, Joey Lindgren. Top 5, Aiden Forster, Jesse Newsom, Tyler Schell, Aiden Price, and Noah Carpenter, rounding out the top 10. Down from there, this is still all points scorers in this feature race as well, with John Helms, Sean Smith, Mason Hannigan, Bradley Cox, Rylan Gray through your top 15. Blake Majulis had some contact through the middle of that race. He ends up P16. We saw that contact between Kenny Hoffman and Sean English. Hoffman ends up P17. Sean English ends up P20. In between them, Chase Stewart and Blake Carrick. The last two drivers to finish that feature race, 21st and 22nd, JD Brown and Ross Kaiser. We saw the 4 upside down. JD Brown also ran into a bit of an issue on the race as well. He ends up P21 on the night. We begin the post-race interviews with second place Dylan Yeager. Taylor, it was a dominating performance for about that first half until Alex Bergeron got by. You're standing by with the 48 of Dylan Yeager.
Dylan, I gotta say, you put on a great drive this night so far, but I gotta ask, what was going on with the car towards the end? It seemed like it was struggling in that middle groove.
It was just a matter of me not being able to run the same line that Alex was on the backstretch. It seemed like that middle line down the backstretch and into 3 was really starting to go away there at the end. And I was just trying to nurse it, and I was trying to move around and find something better, because that's what my guys were telling me that he was faster than me on, and just never found anything faster. And, I just got to tip my cap to him. It's incredible how he takes all this time off and still comes back and kicks all our butts in the sprint cars. It's really impressive. But, yeah, that's really all it came down to, was just down the backstretch and into turn 3. He was just so much better on the bottom down the backstretch.
Well, we head to another unique track next week at Houston. Of course, you got to go through the qualifiers. How confident do you feel going to the next race?
Pretty confident. I feel like our sprint car program right now is in a good spot. All our guys have been on testing a lot, especially Blake, myself, Joey, all them guys. We've been putting in a lot of work, and I feel like we have a pretty good program right now. So I'm hoping that we can get through that without any problems. That would be great. That would be the goal. So we'll see, but I'm feeling good about it.
Well, congratulations to a strong finish for you, Dylan Yeager, coming home in P2.
Thank you.
Great
Taylor.
start. Great start to the season for Dylan Yeager and the number 48, and great start to the sprint car portion of the calendar for him as well. We fight towards that tournament at the end of the round, but I believe we're going to work our way into our P3 finisher of Landon Cardoza. Taylor, you're going to be standing by with the number 21 as well.
Here with Landon Cardoza. Landon, I got to say, it was a little bit of an interesting situation for you. You were kind of the gatekeeper for the podium finish here in third, but still a great run. Walk us through how your night was, dealing with some very heavy hitters challenging you for that final step of the podium.
Oh yeah, it's being patient. Kind of set ourselves back in qualifying. Coming into the week, being the number 1 seed after qualifiers, we knew we were quick. Just had to be smart. That whole feature was crazy. I don't really remember a ton of it. I'm still kind of still going a little crazy, but just being smart. We knew we were gonna be good. Bottom came in for a while, middle came in. Tanner, I know, was coming on the top behind me for a while there at the end. And just being smart at the end of the day. We were confident in the piece we brought, and just keeping our heads straight.
Absolutely. Well, we wish you the best of luck, and we hope to see you next week at Houston Speedway.
Thank you, sir.
Landon Cardoza with a P3 finish on the night, and a great start to his 410 portion of the calendar as well. And Taylor, you just mentioned it. We're advancing to the Houston Speedway, one of the newer dirt oval tracks on the iRacing service, and this thing is fast. If you thought Volusia was fast, Houston Speedway is even faster, and we're going to go racing once again next Monday night, November the 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And Taylor, we've been mentioning it all night. Anybody with an A license can qualify for next week's Monday main event. That starts tomorrow in the World of Outlaws qualifying iRacing series.
You're talking about one of the most amazing dirt tracks up there in the Dakotas, and you are going to be seeing it live here on iRacing. If you have that A license, get out there. Show us that you have what it takes to be the winner at Houston Speedway next Monday night.
And we hope that you'll join us on the iRacing Esports Network and on Dirt Vision 1 week from tonight when we continue the World of Outlaws Pro Series powered by iRacing. That's going to do it for round number 1 of the campaign. For everybody at iRacing, for our producer tonight, Jay Kennedy, for my colleague in the booth, Taylor Burris, my name is Joshua Lee. Thank you for joining us from the virtual Volusia Speedway Park, where Alex Bergeron is on top and in victory lane once again. Does this continue into another 410 or World of Outlaws Pro Series championship for the reigning champ? Tune in next week to find out as the story continues.